Hey, it's AAA. Welcome back to Tiny Rogues. We're going to be starting off with something a bit classic. Doppel Warrior, starting with the Amethyst Ring. Nice, easy way to start a recording session for the week. Yeah, I'm going to see it's 10% more damage versus 125 bonus melee damage. I think that works out to being more. Not 100% sure. I can actually just check, because this has attunement, right? Yeah. It's not giving me... It's not giving me the +1 heart yet, has it? Offense. Why is that changing my attack speed? It's more attack speed, not I misread it. I forgot that got changed. And I prefer attack speed anyways, so I'll take it. Your question is, what kind of run are we doing? Strength dex, maybe? Because we want HP. I'm feeling strength dex. Trying to record as much as I can before today's D&D live. I'm gonna maybe be finishing our first dungeon. That has been very difficult, but in a good way. Give me Ruthless. Ruthless and Alacrity. I love Alacrity, but Ruthless is just better, even though it got, nerfed quite heavily. Still very good. Ooh. Cross Pendant. Unfortunately, we have something that's probably going to stay in that slot, being the Amethyst Ring. Because 10% attack speed goes a long way. But yeah, today we have a Dungeon Roller session. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy the Dungeon Rollers live streams. I have been asked not to upload my perspective to YouTube, so that way the DM's perspective is like the one for YouTube. But I do stream it, my POV, on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. And there should be a Dungeon Rollers playlist here on YouTube for you to watch the YouTube video versions. Ooh, Claymore. Close, but I think the Claymore is a little bit better than that starting hand axe. Our session 1 consisted of lots and lots of kobold death. But I'm really excited for this next session because I finally have levels in both of my classes, because I'm playing a multi-class. I have levels in both Rogue and Druid now, so I'll be able to take full advantage of my build. We're not quite all the way to my build reaching fruition, because eventually I will take 3rd level in Rogue and become an assassin, which gives me crits on surprise attacks, which goes a very long way, because a good rogue will be basically starting every combat with a surprise attack on a target. And since I use throwing knives, it's not impossible for me to hit 2 targets with that first turn crit. Granted, second thrown dagger will not do very much damage, even on a crit, even though our DM does double damage instead of double dice. A critical hit from a dagger that's thrown using the light property will deal between 2 and 8 damage. So, not a huge amount of damage, even on the upside, on the maximum there. But, I mean, that's provided I successfully hit and, both hit and sneak attacked with my first throw. That's where the damage is at, because that first dagger, or that first attack, I'm using light attacks for now because we're early level, and I really need that I really need to guarantee I'm getting that sneak attack every turn, now that I've got the 1d6 of sneak attack. Maximum damage when I get to damage when I get to that level will be 2d6 of sneak attack, plus weapon damage, plus whatever modifiers I've got from, concentration spells, or, maybe a magic weapon. It adds up very quickly, basically, and it results in a very fun but unique way to play Rogue. Where, I'm slithering across the ceiling as a spider, or I'm hiding in the ground as a snake, or at later levels Druid, because it's going to be 3 levels Rogue, everything else Druid, so I can eventually do things like swoop down from above as a hawk, or jump off the ceiling as a bat. Primarily using my wild shape as my way to engage in combat. Like my surprise, it's me kind of thing. Obviously, it's also very useful for lots of other things. Savage Wounds is terrible, but we are using a bleed weapon, so I'll take it for now. Might be the first time I actually use a weapon like the skinning knife effectively. I don't have a key for that. I also am taking my subclass for Druid, which I will have for today's session. I'm recording this before session. I chose Circle of the Shepherd, which gives me access to the little Fey totems. They're basically like mini animals you summon that have an AoE effect. I don't have a key, I shouldn't do that, because there's no real... It's not worth blowing up that kind of chest, in my opinion, for us. I'd rather just get the guaranteed outcome that's good, which is bombs. Anyways, I took Circle of the Shepherd, which gives me access to both improved beast speech. I'm a Furbolg, because I already had some. It just improves my existing beast speech. I get access to these little totems that I can place around once per rest. Thankfully, it recharges on a short rest, like my wild shapes. And since my character is missing a limb and an eye, they will be short resting frequently because they get tired easily. I also have lower movement speed. For now, anyways, my character does plan on seeking out a combat making a combat wheelchair for themselves, which should be interesting. Yeah, I don't want to fight Megadeth Ikaden. But what the totems do is there's a bear totem, which gives bonuses, advantage on perception checks, very useful to everyone in its radius of my choosing. But the big thing is, as a reaction, I can turn an attack from normal to an attack with advantage, including myself. Which means upon seeing myself attack, I can give myself advantage, and, ooh, Paladin Shield. And can give myself sneak attack every turn. It is very, very effective, and I love it. I should take the Misfit Sword and re-roll the bleed, is what I should do. Unless we want this. This is two-handed. This is one-handed. We want this. Re-roll my bleed. Brawler. That's fine. Brawler's not amazing, but it's fine. It's minimum 15% damage. There's two other effects with the totems. There's a bear totem that grants everyone temp HP, as well as advantage on strength saving throws and checks, which is normally not all that good, except for just, using it before a long rest, or using it before a short rest to give everyone temp HP that lasts until our next long rest. I'll take Adrenaline. Don't really need Curse Bite Ring at all. Shadow Shuriken inflicts corruption. we're very heavily strength. I feel like this is just not for us. Ooh. 10% attack speed and a heart. I'm gonna buy it and we'll save it for later. As much as I want the Shadow Shuriken, we don't have... Oh, no, we have tons of decks. What am I saying? It's also a one-handed weapon, so we at least get to try it out for a bit. The only magic item that I or anyone in the party has really gotten so far is I kind of found a cursed magic item. It's not truly cursed. Like, it's not super bad. It's cursed. It's going to require me doing lots of rolls, private rolls, because it is a mug. It's a mug of beer that attempts to consume magic around it. The problem with it is it tries to consume any, you know, spell that it could eat. Typically, like, I think we kind of agreed that it had to be, like, projectile. Including my own, or our warlocks. So it could eat one of their eldritch blasts. To do the checks, I will be rolling a d10. And if I roll a 1 or a... I've actually got it next to me. I've got a dice. It's a 20% chance. So I was planning on rolling this d10, and on a roll of... this is actually a 1 and 0. This one has 1 and 0 instead of 10 on it. So you can treat it as either a d9 or a d10, which I think is kind of cool. If it rolls the 0 or the 1, that was a 9, then it will absorb the magic, and I can do nothing about it. I can choose to feed it magic, and then attempt to fire it. When it fires... this actually does take a little bit... Well, might as well grab it. When it fires, it's a mortar. It's called the Mug Mortar. It does... It's a spell attack of fire damage. Instead of a normal 2-hit, it is... I have to succeed a strength saving throw to aim it. If I succeed, then it does the damage. And it's all good. It's a very good, very fun curse magic item. I kind of found it on accident in a tavern while I was messing around. Give me infusions are permanent. I don't see us getting many potions, but I can probably get every infusion if I try, except for poison if I try hard enough. I plan on keeping, because I don't really use spell attacks at the moment, because, you know, rogue sneak attacks don't work with them. So I'm planning on keeping it pretty empty in combat, and just, you know, letting it do its thing, having a 20% chance to protect me from a projectile that's about to hit me for an ally, a me or an ally, is amazing. I don't need a mana star. I mean, it's better than that. And it's only a 10-foot radius. So it's not too hard for me to just stay away from... I don't plan on, like, just telling the people in game, hey, stay away from me because I've got this cursed magic item. I'm going to let it come up naturally. I'm going to let it eat a projectile naturally. It's not sentient. Not like a mimic, because I thought it was a mimic initially. It doesn't mean we've decided it's kind of sentient, in that it was like created with an objective, and it's trying to complete that objective, which is eat. Its objective is to eat, and it's also soulbound to me because it's a cursed magic item, which means no one else can benefit from it. Including they can't attack with it, nor will it protect them from magical attacks, like it will try to protect me. I am loving the shuriken, so I'm going to drop the Misfit Sword, just because I'm really enjoying the shuriken build we got. And we don't need the Curse Bite Ring, especially because we have a way to cure Curse. Random accessory? Sure, we'll check it. But yeah, I've never had a Curse Magic item in D&D before. And getting one session 1 just because of... Just, you know, I think it was one part reward for helping keep the party together and, like, get to our first objective. Because I'm helping the DM a lot behind the scenes too, with, you know, because they've not played a lot of 5e. Getting that is amazing, because once we lose the heart, we can switch to this with just a keybind press. We're gonna have 2 of those actually. Oh no, this one needs attunement, so we'll probably attune to the shield and the equipment. Yeah, that'll be fine. One part that, and also it was gave us a little bit of lore details. So like there was a previous big bad guy in this world who left a lot of whose magic is still around. Like their good and bad magic is still around. So this is kind of like this isn't a bad magic item. It's cursed, but it's trying to do its best, which I find really cute. It's not meaning to hurt anybody. It's actually meaning to help. It's hungry. The runes are just hungry. So it's not sentient in like the normal sense of a D&D magic item where you could like sit down and have a conversation with it. But it's alive-ish in the fact that it has a semblance of intelligence. Let's go in here for an enchantment. Quick. Nice. Oop. I don't really need this, but I always like to take it. So it's not sentient, but it's trying its best. Because my character can talk to plants and animals, Furbolg, he's quite used to talking to inanimate objects, so it's not new. That's not a new thing for him to do. So there's a non-zero chance they will talk to the mug knowing it's not alive. It's kind of like, oh, I mean, you were alive previously, like the wood in you was alive, and then magic is kind of alive. Do we want more crits or more attack speed? We already have really high attack speed. Let's get some crits in this build. As much as I would like 30% more attack speed, that'd be nice. Also, I know some of the stuff going on in this dungeon we're in, and I'm very excited about it. Mostly because I'm excited for our... Like, dungeons are a great place for parties to bond and, like, to develop funny quirks and things like that. So our barbarian Tiny, who is the only other... the only other giant kin in our party, because we have a party of 5 or 6. And I'm part giant, part fae, being a furbolg, which is why my character's got a exaggerated southern accent, because I figured this was the least offensive accent to give to a giant kin. They gave their giant kin the more traditional ooga booga kind of voice. When did I get that? Oh, just now. Okay. I'll check out this. No. I do like the top hat a lot, so we'll take the top hat. I don't plan on calling this out on this. I don't like the whole ooga booga voice for giants, because it dates back to the Greeks being racist pieces of crap, and having their giants, like their cyclopses and giants, kind of not so subtly draw from their hatred of the island people, like the natives of the islands around Greece. Thus, southern accent. Maybe I'm a bit too woke, That might be one of the few times where I might be considered overly woke, where I'm specifically doing a different accent because I know where the origin of an accent, of a joking accent, comes from in its relation to real life history. Random panda buff. I'm curious. We've not had the panda mask. That will probably be one of the only things I would say I'm overly woke about. Okay, cool. Didn't want that chest anyway. I was hoping for a level 4 upgrade. I was saying something. Here we go. Panda mask attuned. Maybe we have had the panda mask. Have we had the panda mask? I don't know. It feels familiar. Plus 15 intelligence. Panda's cunning. Plus 1 luck. I don't need the panda mask. I'm sorry, Panda. I'd rather have the top hat this time. Hey, we have all 3 of the main. Why did I come in here? I have the best one. Or what's probably the best one already. Oh, yeah, I was saying, Tiny, our other giantkin, got obsessed with a chair. Like, they really wanted a chair from the tavern where we found our first quest from. So they bought a chair and left. Which is actually partially why I ended up with the mug. Is I also bought a mug because I felt bad. But I noticed there was a mug behaving weirdly. Because my character liked to, like... They're, partially to show how angsty they are. They'll kind of, like, mess around with their produced flame orbs a bit too precariously. So, like, they'll toss them around, because they know they don't destroy, they don't harm themselves, and they don't harm my equipment. Also, finally spilled blood from my shoes. So I was kind of throwing it around, you know, being irresponsible, when all of a sudden one of the mugs starts to catch it. Like, one of the orbs that was kind of, like, in the air started, you know, guiding itself into a mug. Despite it being thrown up in the air to then be caught by me. So my character examined the mug, and I had detect magic, and they're like, yeah, this is absolutely magical, you can tell. It took my character to learn a little bit until it was cursed, to learn that it was cursed later. Typical cursed item fashion. Give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Thanks. Alright. You want to equip this. That's hilarious that it gave me another one of these. I don't think they stack. In this next room, we should be good. This should all attune, save my souls from the bonfire. It did not. It's a 2-room attunement, that's why. That means I'll vomit if I use this, right? No, it just caps me off. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the dungeon. It's been all kobold so far. I predicted last session, and I'm standing by this prediction, we are going to encounter some type of dragon in here. Kobolds. Hey, we finally got all the achievements. Where is my mind? But yeah, I am predicting it. I predicted it last session during the call. I'm pretty much certain if you watch episode 2 of Dungeon Rollers, or 3, depends how long we take to clear the dungeon, we will find a dragon, and I'm excited. I basically talked about D&D for all of that run, and we completed the final achievement in Tiny Rogues. We've done it. We've officially done everything in Tiny Rogues, except find my eye patch. We have gone 80 plus episodes, every achievement, we have not encountered the eye patch. So yeah, it's probably going to be random runs, doppel runs, looking for eye patch. And also just playing the game because I still enjoy it.
Hello, what's happening? It's that man in black and green. Sometimes sweet and saccharine, sometimes he be as mad as me.